Hi, and welcome to the Migrants on Air podcast, conversation with migrants leaders and advocates across regions. The Asia Pacific Mission for Migrants launched this podcast as part of our effort to raise awareness and amplify migrants' campaigns. I am Dewi Amelia, and I will be the host for this episode. Migrants on Air is a space to talk about experiences, situations, challenges, and campaigns of migrants. This podcast focuses on what is actually happening on the ground and what changed that migrants wanted to see. Here, we bring migrant voices directly into the conversations. We talk about issues, challenges, and also about solidarity and campaigns for better conditions. This first episode is in conjunction with commemoration of International Workers' Days. As we mark May 1, we will focus on the realities of migrant workers and their working conditions and what work really looks like on the ground. Of course, when we talk about working conditions, this includes working hours, wage, rest days, safety at the workplace, living conditions, and how workers are treated by employers. It also covers access to basic rights such as keeping personal documents, being able to communicate freely, and knowing our or understanding contracts. As we know, many migrants face long working hours without proper rest, delayed or unpaid wage, unsafe or unhealthy environments, and limited access to support when problems arise. In some cases, speaking up can lead to penalties or job loss. Joining us today is a friend from Kasamako based in South Korea. This is Migrants on Air. Let's get started. Hello, Jones. Thank you for coming here. As much as I already know you, but please introduce yourself to our viewers.
Oh, my name is Jones Galang. I am currently the General Secretary of Kasamako, the Migrante International in South Korea.
Jones, as there's probably people who don't know about it, please tell us what does seasonal migrant workers mean?
So the Seasonal Workers Program is a short program for farmers in Korea because Korea don't have enough manpower to to the farm. So they need seasonal workers that can stay only 3 months and later 5 months to 8 months. So they are working at the fisheries, farm, and other related industries.
Wow. Like only permitted working in a country for 3, 5, up to 8 months. My question is why, and what kind of job are they performing?
They said it is seasonal because in Korea there is 4 seasons. During winter season, the farm is limited, and summer is planting season, and then also after that there is a harvest season. So they can stay 3 months, 3 months because of that situation, and of course during winter season they cannot go to the farm or to the seaside to harvest the shells or to harvest rice like that.
I see. So it's really treats migrant workers as disposable workers. Given the situation, what are their working conditions and issues that probably they face?
Like the other seasonal workers or farmers in other countries, the situation of the seasonal workers in Korea is not good. No, it's not good not because of the place. No? It's not good because of the treatment. Of course, the place is very, you know, the when you go to the livestock, oh, very dirty. And then in the farm, uh, you have to you have to work really hard, starting in the morning until in the night time. So this kind of situation is not good for our health. But farmers can overcome this kind of situation, but they cannot overcome the treatment. No, so the treatment is not good. No, example, they are staying in the small room, and they can only eat and rest. After eat and rest, they have to go to the work, and they cannot even go to the sometimes to the market because the boss will buy everything for them so that they can continue to work out to the farm. And then there is a CCTV, you know, as if you are running away. And then of course, the because of the language barrier, sometimes the trouble comes to that point. No, so some, even we are in the high technology of cell phones. Sometimes the interpretation is not good, so they are fighting. No? And then of course, the salary. No, the salary, they said it is a good salary, but in reality, most of them receive small salary, and they don't have any protections, no, like insurance. But later, because we struggle a lot, we advocate a lot for them. The Korean government recognize that advocacy, like insurance, but the farmers should pay also. And then the protection. So the visa extend around 8 months, from 3 months, 5 months to 8 months. The 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 problem is Korea needs workers in the farm, but they are not treating the farmers as workers. They are treating them like slaves. No? They put them the small room. They cannot go outside. They have time like curfew. 10 o'clock they should be inside. Okay, and then during the working period, 10 to 12 hours. And then sometimes some farmers, they have quota. If you cannot meet your quota, you cannot get the full salary. And sometimes the salary is being deducted by the brokers. This is another problem, the brokering. So the broker get all the money, and the farmers don't receive less. So this is the kind of situations of the seasonal farm workers in Korea right now.
Thank you, Johns, for letting us know about the conditions of seasonal migrant workers there. It's so challenging. So, what are the demands or campaigns being conducted or going to be conducted to address their situations?
In general, all of the migrant organization, including NGOs and unions, we are demanding to repeal the, I will repeal the Article 63 in the labor law in Korea. This Article 63 in the labor, it is a kind of exemption, no? So meaning there is exemption of of example, the time, the salary. They don't follow the labor standard law in Korea. Example, the minimum wage, the time. Okay, so the minimum wage now in Korea is 2,100,000. The working time is 8 hours. Okay, from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, like that. But the farmers, the category of farmers are included in the Article 63. So the employer have the rights to for the time, for the salary, for the insurance. They can apply insurance to the farmers. They can make the time. Example, you have to work 3 o'clock in the morning until, like that. So then the minimum wage, they said, oh, your salary is only like this, not the minimum wage. So this is the effect of the Article 63 in the Korean labor. That is why, in general, all the migrant supporters group, union organizations, they are asking the Korean government to repeal this Article 63, so that the farmers can recognize as workers. So that is the in general. And then in another advocacy that or struggle that we are doing now is the extension, legalize the make the the seasonal workers like the EPS, meaning the visa, the protections, the salary should be given to the seasonal workers, because they are workers. They are not part-time workers. Okay, so the effect the effect of the struggle is, recently the government gave them the minimum wage, 2,100,000. They have also the protection to sue the employer if the salary cannot be given within the period of time. Unlike before, the seasonal workers can just deported right away. And then the insurance, the salary, of course, the visa. We are not yet. We success nominal to the visa, because until 8 months, but they have, luckily, some of them can be returned to Korea again, if they said that they have a good performance. But our struggle is all of them should have a long period of a visa, because if you cannot give to the seasonal workers this concern, the result is increasing undocumented migrant workers. So, of course, these are the current struggle and achievements successfully by our struggle in Korea for the seasonal workers.
Thank you, Johns, for letting us know about that. It's nice to hear that some of the struggles already have some winnings. I think it is important to highlight that while continuing the struggle. For our closing, do you have anything to say?
So, migrant workers are essential to Korea's economy, yet they remain among the most exploited and unprotected. The seasonal workers program in its current forms sustain inequality, abuse, and injustice. So, as migrant organizations and supporting the seasonal workers, our demand is not charity but justice, not temporary fixes but structural change. The time is now. not in the future. Today, the Korean government should do this. Thank you.
Yes, the time is now, not tomorrow. Thank you so much, Jones. That brings us to the end of this episode of Migrants on Air podcast. We just heard the realities of migrant seasonal workers in Korea. Even though they are essential for farming and fisheries, they face harsh conditions, long working hours, poor housing, and restrictions on movement. There's also exploitation by brokers, low wages, lack of insurance, and surveillance, alongside the broader injustice of Article 63 of Korea labor law, which exempts farm workers from labor protections. Migrant organizations are demanding structural reforms, including repealing Article 63, extending visas, and ensuring equal rights and protections for seasonal migrant workers. While some progress has been made, such as recognition of minimum wage and insurance, migrant workers continue to be treated as disposable labor. And I echo what John said. Their struggle is not charity, it's for justice, which needs to happen now. Friends, we hope this conversation is useful and relevant to you and that it contributes to a better understanding of what migrant workers face every day, their rights, and their effort to change the situation. If you or someone you know is experiencing difficulties at work, please reach out to trusted organizations or support networks available wherever you are. Thank you for listening. This is Migrants on Air podcast, conversation with migrant leaders and advocates across regions. See you.